Josephine. I'm the author of Goodbye, My Kampong and Potong Pasir. Nice to see you.
Hi guys, it's June here. It's great to have you back, and to my new subscribers, welcome to the Noble channel. I want to begin this episode with a big thank you and a super duper Kampong spirited shout out to Josephine Chia, featured at the start of this video. Now, as you can tell from the tune that I've picked for the opening sequence, it's got a bit of the Simon and Garfunkel kind of vibe. We are taking a walk down memory lane today, and we're doing it with this book. Goodbye, My Kampong is the sequel to Josephine Chia's Kampong Spirit. Now, the Kampong in both these titles refer to Potong Pasir. That's in Singapore, for those of you who are not familiar. Now, reading this book is like reading a very well-kept diary. It really transports you back in time. And for those of you who grew up in the 60s and 70s, I can assure you that you will have many moments of going, I remember that. Of course, growing up back then, you know, it was much simpler then, but it wasn't always easy. The Kampong folks often didn't have much, and education was a privilege, but they more than made up for it with their spirit and resilience. This charming collection of stories will make you laugh, will make you cry, it might even break your heart. It will definitely make some of you wonder, how did people survive back then? No running water, no electricity, and no internet. The stories will take you through the carefree innocence of childhood, through to the awkwardness of the teenagers, and right up to adulthood, falling in love and receiving the very first pay packet. Yes, in those days, the pay did come in a packet. And all this playing out to the backdrop of a nation that was coming into her own. We are here for the launch of Goodbye, My Kampong. It's going to start shortly, so... You guys, I love attending book launches, and the launch of Goodbye, My Kampong is definitely one of the best I have attended so far. So good job to the team from Ethos Books. It was really wonderful to hear Josephine share her personal stories in such a cozy and intimate setting. The audience were clearly captivated. And without giving away our age range, we sang songs from the past. And let's see if you recognize any of them.
Join in. And the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sounds of silent way to San Francisco. Be sure to wear some flowers in your hair. Live by the sea and frolic till the autumn mist in a land called Honolulu.
The event was made even more special by the presence of Mrs. Lina Chiam, wife of Mr. Chiam Sitong, who is the longest serving opposition member of parliament in a single member constituency. He is truly the living legend of Potong Pasir, and you can read a little bit about that in this book. Mrs. Chiam was accompanied by Mr. Jose Raymond of the Singapore People's Party, whom I am sure the residents of Potong Pasir these days are already familiar with. I also spotted author Mira Chand in the crowd, and it's lovely to see authors supporting one another in such events. Mira Chand is the author of A Different Sky. It is a book that I will be talking about in an upcoming episode, and it would also include a giveaway, so please watch out for that. Now, no good party is complete without some really good food. We were served nasi lemak, some lovely kueh, and some refreshing citrusy lime drink. All very, very traditional local fare, which I absolutely love. There are so many things in this book that affected me, but not in a bad way, yeah, but made me look a little bit harder at my own life and being grateful for what I have. One of the things that I felt so emotional about was when the author talked about her relationship with her dad and how some of the things that were said to her as a child affected her right into adulthood. And I'm sure most parents, and I'm sure her dad loved her too, but the thing is, sometimes, you know, parents do say things that are kind of like hurtful without realizing the impact that it will have for the rest of the life of the child. The other thing was also her mom's steely determination. I love the fact that her mom, you know, just soldiered on in the face of hardship, and that is just a testament of how strong, you know, women back in those days were. I mean, women are strong these days too, you know, sister, don't mess with us. But the point I'm trying to say is that, you know, the challenges were a lot they were a lot tougher back then, because, you know, women did not carry much status, if you know what I'm saying. Even and here's another thing that I've got my notes here. The other thing was, you know, the value of a daughter. Like, what is a daughter worth to a family, you know? And I'm not just talking in terms of monetary terms. The value of a daughter as opposed to the value of having a son. Another thing that I felt, oh, this one really made me sad as well, was the fact that people lost touch once they moved out from the kampong, because in those days, you know, even, you know, not every household had a telephone, and definitely no internet then, and no emails. So, you know, once people move away from the kampong, they just lose touch. And it was a little bit like that for me as well growing up. And, you know, as, you know, people in the neighborhood start moving out, you just lose touch. And, you know, looking back, I had like really good friends, and I'm sure you guys do as well. And, you know, it's really sad when people, even with technology, we kind of still would lose touch when people move away from us. So what more back then? As Singapore prepares to celebrate another National Day, this is such an appropriate book for everyone to read, reflect, and celebrate the amazing achievements of this city-state. But equally important is for us to remember the sacrifices that were made and the things that had to be given up in the name of progress. Cherish your history and the values that united the people in the first place. For the residents of Potong Pasir, you have to get a copy of this. You will have a new-found appreciation once you've read this book. You will love your kampong, or I would say your modern kampong, even more after this. So go out and grab a copy. That's all for this episode, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to click like, share, and subscribe, because if you do, good things will come your way. You can connect with me here. I'd love to hear from you. Until I see you again, remember to be kind, be kampong spirited, and be better. Noble. Bye.
Those were the days, my friend, we thought they never end. We sing and dance forever and a day. We live the life we choose, we fight and